The sound of medical equipment echoed through the sterile hospital room. Marina held Gabriel's hand tightly, her fingers interlaced with his as if she could transmit all her vital energy through that touch. 3 weeks had passed since the car accident that nearly took the love of her life. "He's waking up," whispered the nurse, adjusting the monitors around the bed. Gabriel's brown eyes opened slowly, blinking against the soft light of the room. Marina felt her heart race. Finally, after so long, he was back. Tears of relief streamed down her face as she leaned over him. "Gabriel, love, can you hear me?" Her voice trembled with emotion. He looked at her with a confused expression, furrowing his brow as if trying to focus. When he finally managed to speak, his voice came out hoarse and uncertain. Who are you?" The words hit Marina like a punch to the stomach. The doctor had warned about the possibility of amnesia, but she had refused to believe it could happen to them. Gabriel didn't remember anything. Not the accident, not the 3 years of their relationship, not the engagement ring she still wore on her finger. "I'm Marina," she replied softly, swallowing her tears. "I'm someone who cares about you very much." Gabriel studied her face with genuine curiosity, as if seeing a stranger for the first time. And in a way, that was exactly what was happening. The man she loved had vanished along with his memories, leaving only a stranger in his place. In that moment, Marina made the bravest decision of her life. She would make Gabriel fall in love with her all over again, even if it meant starting from zero. In the days that followed, Marina became a constant presence at the hospital. She arrived every morning with fresh flowers and a forced smile, trying to hide the pain she felt each time Gabriel looked at her like a stranger. "You don't have to come every day," Gabriel said during one of her visits. "You must have more important things to do." Marina pretended to arrange the flowers in the vase, hiding the tears that threatened to fall. How could she explain that there was nothing more important in the world than being there with him? "I like your company," she simply replied. "Besides, I brought chocolate. The doctor said you can have some." Gabriel smiled for the first time since he woke up, and Marina felt a spark of hope. Even without his memory, that smile was still the same one that made her fall in love 3 years ago. "Chocolate has always been my weakness," he admitted, accepting the treat. Marina almost laughed through her tears. Gabriel used to say that she was his only weakness, but now chocolate had taken her place. She sat in the chair beside the bed, watching him eat with childlike delight. "Tell me about yourself," Gabriel asked suddenly. "What do you do? Do you have a family?" It was the perfect opportunity to talk about their relationship, but Marina hesitated. The doctor had warned her not to force any memories. Maybe it was better to let Gabriel get to know her naturally, as if for the first time. "I'm an art teacher," she replied. "And you? Do you remember anything about yourself?" Gabriel shook his head, frustrated. "Fragments. I know I like strong coffee and hate the rain, but I don't remember why." Marina smiled inwardly. He hated the rain because on their first date, they were caught in a storm. But that story would have to wait to be told again. A week later, Gabriel was discharged from the hospital. Marina offered to take him to his apartment, but when they arrived, he paused at the door, visibly uncomfortable. "I don't feel at home here," he confessed, looking around the space that had once been his refuge. "It's like I'm an intruder in someone else's life." Marina understood perfectly. Half the things in that apartment were hers. Clothes in the closet, books on the shelves, photos of the two of them that she had discreetly hidden before his discharge. She didn't want Gabriel to feel pressured by a past he couldn't remember. "How about we take it slow?" she suggested. "I can help you get settled if you'd like." Gabriel hesitated, but eventually agreed. While he rested on the couch, Marina made coffee exactly the way he liked it. Strong, no sugar, with a pinch of cinnamon. When she handed him the cup, Gabriel looked surprised. "How did you know I like it this way?" Marina almost gave herself away, but quickly recovered. "You mentioned you like strong coffee. The cinnamon was a guess." "A very good guess," he smiled, savoring the drink. "You have a gift for this." That afternoon, Marina helped Gabriel get reacquainted with his own home. She explained how the appliances worked, showed him where the medications were, and organized his clothes. Every gesture was filled with care, but she made a conscious effort to maintain a respectful distance. "Why are you doing all this?" Gabriel asked suddenly. "Why are you being so kind to me? You barely know me." Marina stopped folding shirts and looked at him. How could she explain that she knew him better than he knew himself? That she had memorized every detail of his personality? That she knew exactly how to comfort him on difficult days? "Sometimes," she said softly, "kindness doesn't need a reason. It just happens." Gabriel nodded, seeming to accept the answer. But Marina noticed something different in his eyes, a growing curiosity about who she really was. 2 weeks had passed since Gabriel left the hospital. Marina had established a subtle routine. She visited under the pretense of checking on how he was adjusting, always bringing something useful, home-cooked meals, books, or simply her company. "I brought painting supplies," she announced one rainy afternoon, carrying a colorful box. "I thought you might want to give it a try." Gabriel frowned. "I'm not sure I have any talent for art." "Everyone does. Sometimes we just need to rediscover it." Marina spread out the paints and brushes on the table. "How about we paint together? No pressure, just for fun." Initially hesitant, Gabriel soon got lost in the colors. His hands seemed to have a memory of their own, moving with a skill that surprised him. Without realizing it, he began to paint a sunset over the sea, with confident strokes and a technique that was clearly not from a beginner. "This is amazing," Marina murmured, genuinely impressed. She knew Gabriel used to paint. Several of his works were stored at home, but watching him rediscover his passion was magical. "I don't understand," Gabriel said, staring at his creation. "It's like my hands know what to do, but my mind can't explain how." Marina sat beside him, painting abstract flowers. "Maybe some things go deeper than memory. Maybe they're etched into the soul." Gabriel watched her paint, noticing how she held the brush, how she blended the colors so naturally. There was something familiar in those gestures, a harmony he couldn't quite explain. "You paint beautifully," he commented. "Where did you learn?" "At university. I've always loved art." Marina smiled, remembering the afternoons they used to paint together in the apartment. "I think people connect through art in a very special way." Gabriel nodded, feeling a strange sense of déjà vu. For a few moments, painting beside Marina, he experienced a peace he hadn't felt since the accident. It was as if a forgotten part of himself was waking up. Gabriel began looking forward to Marina's visits. Without noticing, he found himself tidying up the apartment before she arrived, choosing his shirts more carefully, even buying flowers to place in a vase, something he said just felt right to do. "You seem different," Marina observed one sunny afternoon. "More lively." "I've been feeling better," Gabriel admitted. "I think it's because I finally have a friend." "You're my first real friend since the accident." The word friend cut through Marina like a blade, but she smiled bravely. It was progress, even if it hurt. "How about we go out today?" she suggested. "Exploring the city might help trigger some memories." Gabriel hesitated. Since the accident, he had avoided going out, afraid he wouldn't recognize familiar places. But something in Marina's gentle voice reassured him. They walked through the streets of downtown, Marina deliberately choosing neutral spots. But when they passed the small bookstore where they used to spend hours together, Gabriel stopped abruptly. "This place," he murmured, staring at the window display of old books. "It feels familiar." Marina held her breath. "Want to go in?" Inside the bookstore, Gabriel instinctively headed to the art section, his fingers brushing over the covers with unconscious familiarity. He picked up a book on Impressionist painters, the same one Marina had given him in their first month of dating. "I feel like I've read this before," he said, flipping through the pages. "Then you should buy it," Marina encouraged. "Trust your instincts." On the way back, Gabriel carried the book like a treasure. "Thank you for encouraging me to go out. I feel like I'm starting to find myself again." Marina smiled, but inside, her heart was racing. Gabriel wasn't just finding himself again. He was falling in love with her all over again, even without realizing it. The signs were all there. The care with his appearance, the anticipation for her visits, the growing trust in her presence. A heavy rain began to fall as Marina and Gabriel walked through the park. He immediately tensed, his face tightening with a discomfort she knew all too well. "We need to find shelter," he said, almost panicked, pulling her under an awning. Marina watched him tenderly. Even without his memory, Gabriel still hated the rain. "You really hate getting wet, don't you?" "I don't know why," he admitted, running his hands through his wet hair. "Rain makes me anxious, like something bad is going to happen." Marina wanted so badly to tell him the truth, that on their first date, 3 years ago, they'd been caught in a storm just like this. He had sheltered her with his coat, and they'd arrived soaked at the cafe where she kissed him for the first time. "Sometimes our fears don't have a logical explanation," she said gently, "but you don't have to face them alone." Gabriel looked at her, raindrops still running down his face. There was something in her eyes that calmed him, an understanding that went beyond words. "You're very special, Marina," he murmured, stepping closer. "Since we met, I feel like you understand parts of me that I don't even understand myself." Marina's heart pounded. He was so close she could smell his cologne, see the tiny raindrops on his eyelashes. For a moment, she believed he might kiss her, just like he had so many times before. But Gabriel pulled back, confused by his own reaction. "I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me." "You don't have to apologize." Marina smiled sadly. "Feelings don't follow rules." The rain eased, but the tension between them remained. Gabriel knew he was developing feelings for Marina, but something inside him hesitated, as if there was a distant memory trying to surface, a memory of pain connected to the rain that he couldn't fully access. Gabriel couldn't get Marina out of his head. In the days that followed the rain incident, he found himself dreaming about her, waking with a strange sense of longing for something he couldn't quite name. "Are you okay?" Marina asked when she arrived and found him staring out the window, lost in thought. "I've been having strange dreams," he confessed. "I dream about a woman with brown hair, but I can never see her face clearly. I wake up feeling like I've lost something really important." Marina's heart skipped a beat. Could his memories be trying to come back? "What kind of dreams?" "Fragments. A hand holding mine, a familiar laugh, someone painting beside me." Gabriel turned to her. "It's frustrating. It's like my mind is trying to tell me something, but it can't." Marina stepped closer hesitantly. "Maybe you don't need to force it. Maybe some things will return on their own." "You think so?" Gabriel suddenly took her hands. "Marina, can I be honest with you?" She nodded, bracing herself for anything. "I'm falling in love with you," he said, the words rushing out. "I know we've only known each other for a short time. I know this might sound crazy, but I've never felt so connected to anyone." Tears burned in Marina's eyes. If only he knew they had already loved each other deeply, that they had already planned a future together. "Gabriel," she began, but he interrupted her. "I know it might be too soon for you, but I had to say it. When I'm with you, I feel whole. Like you're the missing piece in the puzzle of my life." Marina fought the urge to tell him everything. Instead, she gently squeezed his hands. "I feel something special for you, too." It wasn't a lie. She still loved him with the same intensity, maybe even more, after almost losing him. But now she had the rare chance to watch him fall in love with her again, to experience the miracle of love being born anew. After Gabriel's confession, the relationship between them subtly changed. He became more affectionate, more present, always finding excuses to touch her hand or stay close. Marina, in turn, allowed herself to relax a little, embracing this new love that was both familiar and completely new. "Would you have dinner with me tonight?" Gabriel asked one afternoon, looking nervous like a teenager. "Not at home, a real restaurant, a date." Marina smiled, remembering how nervous he had been on their first real date years ago. "I'd love to." Gabriel chose a small Italian restaurant, coincidentally the same type of cuisine as the place where they had their first date. During dinner, he seemed more at ease, telling her about the paintings he had made, the books he had rediscovered, the little pleasures in life he was learning to enjoy again. "You changed my life," he said suddenly, holding her hand across the table. "Before you showed up, I was lost, scared. Now, Now I have something worth living for. Marina felt tears fill her eyes. You changed mine too, more than you know. After dinner, they walked slowly through the lit streets. Gabriel stopped in front of a small square with a fountain in the center, the same place where they had their first kiss years ago. This place, he murmured, looking around. It feels familiar. Marina held her breath. Would he remember? I can't explain it, Gabriel continued, but I have this feeling something important happened here. He turned to her, his eyes glowing under the streetlights. Slowly, as if following some ancient instinct, he reached out and gently touched her face. May I kiss you? He whispered. Marina nodded, her heart beating so hard it echoed in the empty square. When his lips touched hers, it was as if time turned back. The same sweet, passionate kiss, the same feeling of completeness, the same love being reborn like a phoenix from the ashes of lost memory. 2 weeks passed since that first kiss. Gabriel and Marina were now officially a couple, and he seemed happier than ever. But Marina carried a growing weight in her chest, the guilt of keeping such an important secret. I'm thinking about moving, Gabriel said during breakfast at his apartment. This place still feels strange. How about we look for a place together? Marina almost choked on her coffee. They had already lived together for a year before the accident. Are you sure? Isn't it too soon? For other couples, maybe. But I know you're special. Gabriel held her hand. Actually, I found something strange yesterday. He went to the bedroom and returned with a small velvet box. Marina's heart stopped. It was the engagement ring he had bought for her. It was at the bottom of a drawer, Gabriel explained, opening the box. It's weird, I don't remember buying this, but when I saw it, I immediately thought of you. Marina couldn't speak. Her hands trembled as she looked at the ring she should have received the night of the accident. Gabriel, I need to tell you something, she began, but was interrupted by the doorbell. It was Dr. Santos, Gabriel's neurologist. Sorry to interrupt, but I have important news, he said as Marina opened the door. In the makeshift consultation space in the living room, Dr. Santos explained, Your scans show significant improvement. There's a strong chance your memories could return, maybe very soon. Gabriel was silent, processing the news. What if I don't want them back? He finally asked. What do you mean? Dr. Santos frowned. I'm happy now. I have Marina. I have a new life. What if my old memories change that? Marina felt her world collapse. Gabriel, you need to know... She started, but he stopped her. No, Marina. It doesn't matter what happened before. What matters is what we have now. But in that moment, something changed in Gabriel's eyes. He blinked several times as if seeing something distant. Marina, he whispered, his voice shifting. Oh, God. Marina, it's you. I remember everything. The memories came back like an avalanche, and Gabriel finally understood the magnitude of what Marina had done for him. Tears ran down his face as the memories rearranged in his mind. He remembered the accident. He was coming back from the jeweler, excited to propose to Marina that same night. He remembered the fear in her eyes at the hospital, how she held his hand during the coma. You stayed, all this time, he murmured, voice choked with emotion. Even when I didn't recognize you, you never gave up. Marina was crying openly now. I couldn't leave you. Even if you didn't remember me, I couldn't forget us. Gabriel pulled her into his arms, holding her as if she were the most precious thing in the world. My love, what you did, making me fall in love with you again, without pressure, respecting my time. That's the purest form of love I've ever known. I just wanted you to be happy, Marina sobbed. Even if it wasn't with me. But it was always going to be with you, Gabriel said, pulling back to look into her eyes. Even without memory, my heart recognized you. My soul knew you were my home. He took the ring from the box with trembling hands. Marina, I asked you to marry me once, but you never got the chance to answer because of the accident. Now, with all my memories back, knowing that our love can overcome anything, I ask you again, will you marry me? Marina looked at the man she loved, the same man she had lost and won back, who had fallen in love with her twice. "Yes," she whispered, 1,000 times yes. When Gabriel slid the ring onto her finger, it was as if the circle had finally closed. They had lost time, but found something even more precious, the proof that true love transcends memory, that some connections are so deep even amnesia can't erase them. 6 months later, in the same square where they had shared their first and second kiss, Gabriel and Marina were married. And when the rain began to fall during the ceremony, instead of running for cover, they danced in the rain, finally turning a painful memory into pure joy.